Welcome to this British Pearl demonstration video. Here I will briefly cover our property investment process. We use our investment process to select the property investments that we list on our platform for our investors to select and add to their portfolios. We hope that this will give you some insight into the strict process that we follow to ensure that our investors benefit from knowing that every single investment offered on our platform has been scrutinised. We have worked to bring an institutional asset management approach to property investment which our investors benefit from. By institutional asset management approach, we mean that we have very strict criteria that the properties have to pass through before we offer them to our investors. In order to support this, our core team not only has a strong background in property, but also extensive experience in investment management. So let's discuss a little more about what we mean by institutional asset management approach. Our starting point is a strict investment criteria that has been agreed with the British Pearl Board. This lays out various criteria including income, capital growth, condition, location and curb appeal, to name just a few. We seek to have an increasingly diverse range of investments available so that these criteria can be diversified by our investors so that they can construct customised portfolios that suit their individual requirements. There are 5 key steps to make our investment process work. This takes the general investment criteria laid out by the board and then moves through to final property offer and purchase. Let's go through each of these key steps in turn. If a property looks viable, it will go forward for more detailed due diligence involving financial modelling, legal review and comparables research. While the experience of a trained eye can speed this process up, it is still time consuming as we carry out reviews against a very large number of possible properties. For every investment that gets past the first hurdle, often more than 100 possible properties have fallen by the wayside, with only the very best making it through to the subsequent rounds. At a very basic level, the property team will use some very basic statistics such as gross property yield, regional knowledge, discussions with local sales and letting agents, plus insight for the outlook over the property market to make an initial screen of a property and an area. We assess property price comparables in terms of other similar units. They be local units, issues around pound per square foot pricing and ceiling prices. We also assess rental price comparables in a similar fashion and detail. We then seek third-party forecasts around the regional property price outlook, taking an average across multiple estimates. We also consider the capital structure of the investment, that is, the balance of shares and loans that will provide the investment funding. Finally, we look at various different investment terms. We then take our model and input all of the financial information, including the considerations and assessments we have just considered on the previous slide. These are entered into our customised proprietary model that we use to help us assess all of our investment properties. All of these inputs together generate the core of our financial analysis. We believe that it is important that investors can see the likely returns that an investment may bring over time, both in terms of the regular income and longer term capital gains. To do this, we carry out detailed investment modelling of all the investments that pass through our initial screening process. Our modelling process demonstrates realistic and achievable returns for our investors, and therefore we try to be cautious with our assumptions, remaining consistent with our longer term approach to property investment. We model each investment out for the entire investment term, which is typically 3 or 5 years. We generate both the annual profit and loss statement and the balance sheet or capital evolution. For all investments we bring to our investors, a summary of this modelling is then presented on the website for investors to be able to review. If our model indicates strong returns, and the due diligence does not highlight any concerns, we then move on to the property viewing process. This could be a block of flats in Lincoln one day, an auction lot in Cardiff the next, and a new build in Hampshire the following day. As cash buyers, we offer speed and security to sellers, and this, combined with often buying multiple units, helps us to negotiate strong price discounts that we can pass on to our investors. If the viewing goes well, the financial model will be reviewed to include anything we gleaned from that viewing. We want the model to be as accurate as possible, and the devil is in the detail. Once the team is fully comfortable with the property and the estimated returns, the investment manager presents a formal proposal to the investment committee. Once signed off to buy, the next stage follows a standard buying process, but we leverage our experience as professional buyers in order to add efficiency at each step. We negotiate hard without being afraid to walk away from a transaction if it cannot be secured at the right price for our investors. We then manage the buying process to optimise time and cost efficiency to ensure the investors receive the best possible terms, which are then completed quickly to minimise transaction costs. We aim to use our contacts and expertise, supported by our bespoke financial modelling, and further leverage that as often being a cash buyer to secure the best property investments for everyone. This means we provide access to property investments that people could not necessarily do themselves. The challenge is to build a diverse portfolio in terms of property type and location, whilst not straying from our strict investment criteria. It may sound like a rigid set of rules to follow that requires laborious implementation. That's because it is. This rigorous approach means we identify the best returns available while minimising the risk to our customers' capital. We believe that this institutional asset management approach brings discipline and consistency to our investment process, which results in stronger investment opportunities for our investors. I hope this has answered some of the questions you may have had about our investment process here at British Pearl. If you've got any further questions, please do not hesitate to get in contact with us. Thank you.